Hi guys, I'm back. Did you miss me? I hope you did, and if you didn't, don't lie to me because I'm a sensitive man. Anyways, I figured it was time to come back with another video since my last video is stuck at 666 views, which is an odd number to be stuck on unless the universe is trying to scare me. Now, since I'm in Sumeru, I met this gorgeous man for the first time. I had this sudden urge to find out more about him and see if his playstyle can match my vibe. And if what I call the grass element aka Dendro is actually worth adding to my team. So we're going to do a rundown together of all the Dendro characters in Genshin 5.1 so far. I'll be giving a little backstory / intro about each character because they are pretty interesting and the advantages you get from having them on your team, a showcase of some weapons that can be used for them, and lastly their playstyle. So you can also figure out if you want them on your team, if they fit the way you play the game. Do forgive me if certain names get botched. Jumping right into it, we have Collei. Now this is my girl. Even though she doesn't fit my playstyle because I can't aim, she's still my girl. I got a soft spot for her. And all you older Genshin players who's past Sumeru, you better go back to Ganderville to visit her. Collei is one of the first characters players are introduced to in Dendro at 3.0, and they were giving her away for free at a point, but in 3.1 and Spiral Abyss, if you missed out, just pull for her. She's a trainee forest ranger who is under the care of Tighnari due to, sadly, her being born sickly. Now her parents were desperate to help heal her as any parent would be, so they brought her to this man who explained the illness as being touched by the Div, which is a supernatural creature with negative properties, and claimed that they had to give their daughter to him in order to save her. However, he was working with the Fatui Harbingers, which is like mental, and instead of saving her, they turned her into a test subject. Strangely enough, the Harbingers was able to suppress the sickness with whatever he was doing, but we don't know what that is. So when we left that situation, our man Tighnari don't know how to replicate that treatment. Talk about trauma, because apparently the disease Collei has is incurable and called Elazar. Now with all that is going on, she doesn't tell everyone about her sickness, only the people who are close to her. So others tend to misjudge her, but a girl is trying her very best to live her life, even though the illness is getting worse. That's pretty strong of her, of course. So she is a 4-star character who uses a bow. That's her specialty. Some bows that you use for her are sacrificial bow, which if we are her struggling, which by the way guys, I am too. I am struggling. I'm in this category unless the Genshin gods decide to bless me. You can also craft the prototype crescent or the LG for the end if we get blessed. The advantage of having a girl on the team is that she reduces gliding stamina, so exploration is faster. Also, having Collei in the team is especially useful when exploring Sumeru, since so many puzzles require Dendro or charged range attacks. Now her playstyle. Her normal attack does physical damage, throwing out 4 consecutive attacks. If you press and hold the attack button for a charged attack, it deals a precise shot. If the arrow is fully charged, then it will deal Dendro damage, but if you can't aim fast enough like me, then forget about hitting anything with a bow, honestly. Her elemental damage is pretty cool because you get to throw a floral ring which acts like a boomerang, so you would hit her opponents twice with Dendro damage. Also, in her elemental burst, you have something called the sprout effect. If you unlock the talent Floral Sidewinder, this effect activates if one of your party members triggers an elemental reaction that involves Dendro before the floral ring returns. Then it will deal Dendro damage onto the enemies for a set time based on Collei's attack. Her elemental burst brings out her little assistant Kulin Amber to the battle, which causes an explosion which deals AoE Dendro damage on the field, and even create a circle that it continues to hit the opponents in it. This is useful as a sub DPS as she can apply Dendro damage off field. The Kulin Amber circle can even get bigger if you trigger another Dendro elemental within it, Quicken, Hyper Bloom, etc. So if you're looking to throw Dendro damage out left and right to trigger some Dendro elementals with your other characters, she's perfect. and if you can actually aim that bow, then you got the best of both worlds with her. She's strong, so give her a shot. Next up is Tighnari, the stern chief officer of the Forest Rangers and Collei's mentor, released in 3.0 and became playable shortly afterwards. This is our man's with the large, pointy black hairs and a fluffy tail. He's to be taken seriously though, because he is much respected and sought after to help individuals in a medical sense through the Ayurvedic arts, and obviously when there is a disturbance in the forest. He spends a great deal of time in Sumeru's forest, studying various spices of plants and ensuring that the ecosystem is healthy and balanced. So I might be botching this name again, but our man has Veluca Shuna heritage, which is a whole other deep dive by itself. Maybe I will do one day when you guys are interested. So he's not from Sumeru, he's from the desert side, but our man is sensitive to the weather. Now he's a 5-star crafter and also yields a bow. He can use the slingshot if we're out or struggling, the prototype crescent if we got here by crafting, or the hunter's path if we got blessed. The advantage of having him on the team is that the location of resources unique to Sumeru will appear on our minimap, so you can gather items more efficiently. Even though he yields a bow like Collei and have the Dendro element, they are still very different in playstyle. His normal attack does physical damage, throwing out 4 consecutive attacks. If you hold down your attack button and do a charge attack, you get to aim your shots, and depending on how long you let your attack charge, there are different levels. So level 1, the man fires a regular arrow that deals Dendro damage, but at level 2, he fires an arrow that throws down an opponent and that also deals Dendro damage, but gives an after effect of auto-targeting that enemy to hit him again and again. This type of arrow is called a reach arrow. After the talent Keen Sight is unlocked, when he fires a reach arrow, elementary mastery gets increased. His elementary skills throws something that looks like a smoke bomb that deals Dendro damage and creates a circle on the field that confuses the enemies with illusions, so they end up attacking in the wrong area. When this circle of Dendro fumes are placed, you get attack with the reach arrows much faster. Now his elemental burst, you don't need to know how to aim because he fires 6 tangle vines that automatically targets the enemies and hits them twice with Dendro damage. Now if you keep getting talents for this guy, his Dendro attacks will increase. Also, I heard he's not as popular amongst Genshin players, but if you guys have him or are interested in him or love him, let me know in the comments. I always assume for every character in Genshin, there's a player out there who loves them or love their playstyle at least. Next is the guy called Kaveh. I haven't met him as yet, but he looks pretty cute and charming. Kaveh has quite the reputation amongst academia students and Sumeru citizens and is described as a genius and talented architect. So the man is out here throwing around his charm. He approaches people without hesitation if he suspects they're in trouble and even lends his hand by providing his mora to them. It's mentioned by Alhaitham that he is too considerate of others and is emotionally fragile. He even knows Dori and was her architect for her house, which became an iconic landmark because of how talented he is. Our man is a drinker though. He is notably over-reliant on alcohol, using it to drown his sorrows. I'm yet to find out what those sorrows are, but I'm assuming because he's fragile, maybe that's the reason. He's the first Dendro Claymore character in Genshin. He is a 4-star Claymore user, but he doesn't yield a Claymore in the traditional sense of holding that bad boy and swinging. He has an assistant, which is a multifunctional tool that runs on ancient technology, and it looks like a briefcase. And he mainly maps out what he wants, and the tool does it, so the tool swings his sword for him. It's honestly graceful. He can use the mailed flower if we're out here struggling, the forest regalia if we're out here crafting, or the wolf's gravestone if we got blessed. The advantage of having him on the team is when he crafts landscapes, buildings, or country yard furnishing, he saves us material by giving us back a refund on some of them. His normal attack does physical damage with 4 strikes. His charge attack, it's like Noel, where we swing our sword around and hit these enemies off their feet at the end, but the difference is We are not touching the sword, even though it still consumes our stamina. He's too elegant for that. His elemental burst uses Marok, the assistance mapping ability, which does a radial scan that gives Dendro damage. Now there's a talent that slows this man's ability to heal himself and himself alone. It's called an Architect's Undertaking, and when he hits with Dendro core damage, including Burgon and Hyper Bloom, he will restore his HP based on his elementary damage. Now his elemental burst releases the full power of Marok, which maps out the area that deals AoE Dendro damage to everyone in it and causes all Dendro cores to burst. During this state, his combat abilities are increased because you can't interrupt his attacks as an enemy, and all his attacks ends up doing Dendro damage. You should keep in mind though that he has to stay on field. He's not an off-field man. From the looks of it, Kaveh can easily be a catalyst user, but instead he's a special type of claymore user. Watching him fight though is making me want to pull for him. He seems like a good grass type in my book. Next we're going to talk about Dendro Traveler. Now I tend to forget that a traveler can take on any elemental because she's been locked up in my character archives for a long time, and she's still a 5-star windbender with a sword. When she comes on screen with Paimon, I'm happy to see her, but to fight with her, now that's a different story. I mean, with all these really good characters we have in the game now, and with Genshin adding someone every month, why would I bother about using Traveler? Sometimes it is nice though, having her run around in my party acting like she's the leader and all, and I get determined to build her, as good as her name is, being the one and only Traveler and all. And then I see another character burst being super cool, and I'm like, is it really worth it to build her? Because then I look back at my playstyle with her, and my ability to navigate when she flies is trash. I draw on all the time. She's still at level 30 and she's using up my space to put back in a real leader like Mr. Zhongli and Noelle. The weapons she can use are the Favonius sword if we are here struggling, the Sapa Woodblade if we're out here crafting, or the Freedom Sworn if we got blessed. The advantage of having her on the team is unknown to me, but I am sure there has to be one out there. Like, we're not hating on her or anything. Like, she's good. That's her main, that's her day one. Her normal attack deals physical damage, hitting you 5 times. You see that? Everybody else was doing like 4, okay? They were doing 4 and 3. We are doing 5. Her charge attack deals physical damage as well as a big strike. See that? See that also? A big strike. Okay. Her elemental skill seems to be a Dendro slash attack, while her elemental burst puts down a Dendro flower that consistently deals Dendro damage. Dendro Traveler has an energy generating elemental skill that allows them to serve as a battery, and a consistent elemental burst that has minimal downtime. They do say some of her Dendro abilities are similar to Nahida. Either ways guys, if you like Dendro Traveler, use her. It's your experience, it's your playstyle. Do what makes you happy. I'm not here to tell you that's right or wrong, clearly. Now we're going to talk about Nahida, the current Dendro Archon, also known as the Lesser Lord Kusanali, and was introduced as a playable character in Genshin Impact version 3.2. Now she's a little tiny cute character who's not like all the other gods, and she is the god of wisdom. Lesser Lord Kusanali, who was whisked back by the sages to the sanctuary of Surashtana following the former fall of Greater Lord, has been more of a symbol and a reminder to people that their god still lives, but in all honesty, they'd rather have the Great Lord back. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata created Sumeru's forest and bestowed wisdom upon the people of Sumeru through the academia. Despite her departure long ago, her name is still praised in the stories told everywhere in the household of Sumeru. The Lesser Lord suffers from very low self-esteem as a result of the way the sages treated her. She's just a kid after all, somewhat living in the Great Lord's shadow. But once we get rid of those sages, which I haven't done as yet, she is said to be openly wandering around the city, and when she has the time, she interacts with people and has the overall far more genuine, cheerful view of herself. Now she's a 5-star our catalyst user, and some of the weapons that she can use are the magic guide, the mappa mare if we're out here crafting, or 1,000 floating dreams if we got blessed. The advantage of having her on the team is that she can use her elemental skill targeting mode to locate all the items in range for harvest and collect them from afar. Another advantage of having her is that she will fulfill nearly all of your Dendro application needs, whether she is played on field or off field. It brings us straight into her playstyle. Her normal attack is 4 elegant strikes that deals Dendro damage. Her charge attack creates this box that deals Dendro damage to the enemies. Her elemental skill throws Dendro bombs that deals AoE Dendro damage as well, and the enemies that were hit will be marked and formed a connection. If you hold her elemental skill, you can enter aiming mode and target a certain number of enemies far to deal Dendro damage. Once you use her elemental burst, she brings up a whole shrine. Now that's crazy, a whole shrine. I haven't seen another god do that so far, and it's absolutely gorgeous and showcases how powerful she is even though she's a lesser god. The enemies are literally trapped in her incredible powerful tool for buffing her and her team's damage output. It has a massive AoE and an impressive duration, making it one of the best elemental bursts in the game. If you only want someone mainly laying down Dendro attacks everywhere, she's who you go for. Kirara. Now we have Kirara, who is a gold level A courier that works in Konami Express, a delivery company in Inazuma. She has twin relentless tails and is a Nekomata who loves human society. She takes her job very seriously, and if you are a roadblock, she will clear you immediately so she can deliver the packages on time. Anything to get on time, of course, as she is curious about the world outside Teyvat and enjoys public interactions, seeing them as outings at her own expense. Due to her lack of knowledge about the outside world, she often mistakes others with non-human features or magic uses to be other forms of yokais. She treasures everything about the human society and is also overjoyed to behold the smiling faces of her customers. She is a 4-star character and yields a sword. She can use the Dockhand's assistant, sapwood, blade if we are out here crafting, or the key of Kajanitsu if we're out here blessed. The advantage of having her on the team is that the animals who produce fowl, raw meats, or chilled meats are not startled that easily. Her cat skills are activated. Her normal attack does physical damage with 4 strikes. Her charge attack also deals physical damage, doing 3 slashes with her claws, which consume stamina. Her elemental skill bounces her to kick her enemies, dealing Dendro damage, which at the same time creates a shield for her, which scales off her max HP. Now if you hold her elemental skill, the cutest things will happen. She turns into a little cat-shaped cute package, which allows her to move and fight faster. Her shield stays on and deals Dendro damage by itself, so you just run into a man that we want to fight and run circles around him. When this ends, she deals a strong claw move, and that deals AoE Dendro damage. Her elemental burst, she hits you hard with a package that spreads catgrass around, which explodes and deals Dendro damage. Now I must say, as Genshin keeps going and comes up with these new characters and playstyles, they get more creative as time goes by. Emilie. Announced before the launch of 4.7 updates on the Genshin account, Emilie is the latest Dendro character from Fontaine to join the cast of characters. Emilie's title is 1,000 Scents Traced, a reference to her passion for flowers and perfumes, and this shouldn't come as a surprise given her elemental vision. Emilie is self-employed, and her products are highly sought out by fashionable ladies of Fontaine. She is a friend of Chevros and has helped her solve some difficult cases since she has a secret profession being a forensic cleaner. She helps investigate crime scenes and unveil criminal secrets that would never have been revealed otherwise during her investigation. It sounds a little bit odd of a combination, but I mean different people people have different interests, and her mother works in the forensic medicine. And when children her age were reading comics, Emilie was reading her mother's work text. She was fascinated by the mysteries of chemical reactions, so it makes sense where this side of her comes from. She does give a lot of Lisa vibe though. Unsure if it's just due to her dress or if they use Lisa's model to make her from it, but something is giving me Lisa vibes. Emilie is a 5-star character who uses a pole arm. Some of the weapons that she can use are the Favonian slants if we're out here crafting, the black tassel, luminous algae if we got blessed. This brings us into a playstyle. Her normal attack is to hit you with 4 physical damage spear attacks, while her charged attack performs an upward slash, which also deals physical damage by consuming some stamina. Okay, so here's what's going on with the elemental skill. Because as we get deeper and deeper into Genshin updates with new characters in my small little Sims game head, it starts to get complicated. So I'm going to explain this in a simple, and I mean simple, way for other people to somewhat get the idea. When you use your elemental skill, she creates something called a luminous case that deals Dendro damage. It looks like a little cute lantern to me. Now, while you're doing any type of normal attack, fight for your life. This case will be firing puffs of pure dew at the opponent, which just means it's the only thing doing the Dendro damage at that moment. This case can be leveled up to level 2 alone, which will increase the range and the damage of the Dendro being fired out. There's a catch to leveling this man's up. I'm telling you, it works like an old lantern. You gotta add fire to this battle. Fire. You gotta let that man burn before the case collects something called sense. Once it gets 2 sense, then he's going to level up by 1 level. So you'll need 4 sense for level 2. Her elemental burst is beautiful. It creates a level 3 luminous case, which has now added flowers to it, and it rains down scented dews to enemies, dealing Dendro damage. But once it's done, it will revert to whatever level you had the case at before continuing to deal Dendro damage. If you look at it this way, we're basically suffocating our enemies with perfume scents. This man's name is Dr. Baizhu, and he is served by my adorable, faithful little Chi-Chi, because he is the owner of Boo Boo Pharmacy, and he is rarely seen without the white snake named Changsheng. His medical knowledge is encyclopedic, and his personal intrigues subtle. Now listen, I don't know what most of those big words mean, but obviously it has to mean that this man is very knowledgeable in the medical field, and he just probably doesn't share much information about himself that is personal. So he is a 5-star catalyst user, so he can use the Favonius Codex, the Dragon Slayer, or the Jade Falls Splendor. Now, Baizhu's advantage is also healing related, okay? So if you interact with certain resources, you pick them up or whatever, then he is going to heal you. So straight into his playing style, his normal attack will do 4 times, and it will be Dendro attack. His charge attack, also Dendro related. He's just gonna like spare these guys. Now for his elemental skill, he's gonna throw out a Dendro sprite, and this man's gonna be attacking things. If there's nobody there to attack, he'll come back. Now with his elemental skill, this is gonna give us a shield of Dendro, which brings us straight into his healing ability. Now his healing ability is based on his max HP, and the healing source comes from his skill and his burst. Just a side note though, apparently his healing is not effective in co-op mode. Now with his elemental skill healing, when he throws out that attack, he doesn't get healed until it is returned to him. Now his elemental burst seems to be what gives us the most healing from his shield. Now the shield seems to only heal the individual within it, but his elemental skill will heal everybody outside of the field as well. So you guys can give this guy a try. He doesn't seem like a bad guy, but I'm going to stay away due to that snake. Another character called Yaoyao. She's also Miniman's. She's described as the streetward rambler's youngest disciple, a gentle and caring little adult. I'm sure she's not an adult. I'm assuming. I don't know much about her, but I'm sure she's not an adult. She's just a little kid. She seems to spend her time into the mountains a lot. Apparently, the Adeptize has taken a liking to her and bestow her with gifts and teaching her Adeptus arts, but she is a human. Now, Yaoyao seems to be from Liyue, and she is a 4-star character, and she yields a pole arm. You can use the Black Tassel for her, the Favonius Lance, or the Rightful Reward. An advantage of having her in the party is that she too will not scare off any animals like crystal flies and lizards, so you have an easier chance of catching them. Now straight into her playstyle, she can deal physical damage with her normal attack, which gives you 4 consecutive hits with her pole arm. Her charge attack makes her lunge forward, also physical damage. Okay, so tapping her skill allows her to throw that little bunny guy, and he's gonna hit out some Dendro. If you hold down the skill, you can aim where you want it to be thrown, and then he will come out and start attacking. So it'll be as if you have 2 people attacking. Now when she releases her elemental burst, then she unleashes 3 of these rabbits, okay? So you got 3 mans on your case now, which brings us straight into her healing abilities. So she's able to heal based on her max HP, and her healing sources are from her skill and from the elemental burst, mainly because of that little rabbit. So when she throws that man out, okay, either on the skill or in the burst, he's going to be targeting anybody who is low in HP. He will help you heal, and if you are high in HP, then he's going to be attacking instead. But if there's no enemies around and you throw him out, then he's going to be healing you whether you need it or not. Now this means that the character has to be on field for this healing to happen, but she also has the ability to heal off field characters based on some bursts that the rabbit does. So far from her part, there seems to be a lot of healing happening. Let's talk about the man that inspired me to make this video, Alhaitham, a member of the Haravat of Sumeru and the Academy's scribe responsible for documenting their findings and draftings. He's a brilliant man, but he is only an ordinary employee of the Academy with a stable job and a house in Sumeru, leading a carefree and comfortable life. Sometimes people find it nearly impossible to catch him in his office. Little do they know about this scribe, other than his name, Alhaitham, that he is supposed to be present during work hours. The fact is, no one knows his whereabouts, and all they can do is leave documents and files on his desk. He views it as having an entirely unpredictable schedule affords undisturbed freedom. Our man's out here giving the mysterious vibes, the untouchable vibes, proving to be a challenge. He does have a few friends. Kinda, it's a boy type of friendship with Kaveh, Tighnari, and Sino. Now he's a 5-star sword user, and some of the weapons he can use are the Wolf Fang, if Harbinger of Dawn if we're struggling, Light of Foliar Incisions if we're blessed. The advantage of having him on the team, other than eye candy of course, and our Delulu of him being shipped with the Traveler, is when he crafts weapon ascension products, he has a chance to receive double the product. This brings us into his playstyle. His normal attack is to hit you with 5 strikes, with his sword dealing physical damage. If you use his charge attack, then he takes up some stamina to hit an opponent hard 2 times with his sword, dealing physical damage. If you tap his elemental skill, he will rush forward to then deal Dendro damage, which also creates a little 2-diamond shaped shard mirror by his face. If you hold down the charge attack, then he will aim his Dendro attack, which then causes some mirrors to activate, but there can only be 3 mirrors at a time, which is his elemental burst, which is exactly what we want, because while he possesses these mirrors, his normal attack, charge attack, and plunging attack all deals Dendro damage. His elemental burst creates a binding field that deals AoE Dendro damage. The enemies are basically trapped in a Dendro cell where they get hit repeatedly as they should. When doing any of these though, he's generating mirrors which only stays on field with him, no other teammate. Alhaitham is an excellent option for players looking for an on-field DPS. So if you want a sword Dendro user who will consistently get mirrors to boost his attacks to be a constant Dendro attacker, then he doesn't sound too bad at all. Plus, I mean, he has abs. Lastly, we have Kinich. Now, I purposely waited for this guy to come out so I can make this video, because I don't feel like they will be making any more Dendro characters for now. So off the bat, so far, the most unique Dendro character I've seen. He has this glitchy comic book game style that is different from what we are used to in the game. So he's in the nation of Naslands where humans and Saurians live side by side. But this does not mean that all Saurians approach humans with friendly intent, because there are still reports of human deaths due to Saurians. So this brings in our boy Kinich, who is a Saurian hunter. There are more hunters out there, but they keep their distance from him because he goes about things differently. The guy had a rough childhood. His mother basically left him and his father was a gambler. Like our characters got some traumatic past. Maybe that is why he seems reserved with his feelings and comes off as old. Both his parents left him living beneath a mountain where an elder decided to enroll him in a tribe learning lodge. Kinich, the loner that he is, goes nowhere without a certain self-proclaimed Aha, meaning divine lord, hanging around him, which he is seen as Aha, servant. Now, Aha was sealed into a temple and Kinich made it to the end and bound him, realizing the threat that Adro could pose if not controlled. Kinich decided to negotiate Aha over the course of several days. Aha, wishing to leave and see the outside world, agrees to do so on the condition that he would take Kinich's body once he had passed away. In return, he would be Kinich's companion and would lend his powers to him on a limited, restricted basis. Nonetheless, Aha did not like the contract and would often try to get Kinich killed in order to be free. Though Kinichi paid his attempts little mind, because I mean this guy's been through it emotionally, so he shut down. Now he is a 5-star claymore user. Some of the weapons that he can use are the serpent spine, the earth shaker if we're out at crafting, or the fang of the mountain king if we got blessed. The advantage of having him on the team is that he uses his grappling hook to swing through the air, opening a faster way for us to travel, and if you interact with his harvestable materials, it increases his speed. This brings us to his playstyle. His normal attack is to hit you up and down with 3 rapid strikes dealing physical damage, while his charge attacks that consumes a certain amount to spin and throw his claymore forward to attack opponents with physical damage. His elemental skill deals Dendro damage, which allows him to leap through the air with a hook that carries us closer to the enemies. If you hold his elemental skill, you can aim the hook to the target and that opens up a Dendro attack as you get attached. His elemental burst unleashes the power of Adro's dragon breath, dealing Dendro damage. He is one of the Dendro characters I'm very interested in having on my team because of his playstyle. So who are the top 3 best Dendro characters so far? I will give my non-pro input, which is based on what playstyle I like and bias of what characters I like, and I will give what some pros say are the top 3 so far. The pros would say Nahida, Alhaitham, and Baizhu. I would say Nahida, Alhaitham for sure, and I think Kinich has strong potential to be in their league. Keep in mind, these tier lists are not set in stone, and you should just pick who works well for you and your playstyle, as well as who you like to have on your team, which characters you have a soft spot for. There's no right or wrong answer. So just enjoy the game and see which character works best for you. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any other video ideas for me, do tell me in the comments and like and subscribe. Bye!